that's why Carolina's in Chapel Hill and USC's in California. And the university in this state always has been, always will be, Clemson. Print that, tweet that.
And I hope they come in here undefeated. That's what I told you before the game. Our team believes. Our team believes. They got heart. We got greatness in us. They say we can't do it. What they say now?
Down go the champs. Auburn's 17-game win streak comes to an end.
We got greatness in us. So I told them, you got greatness in you, but you got to make a decision to be great. They made a decision to be great today. And I couldn't think of a better place to end the streak. It's Death Valley. South Carolina, baby.
And now it's time for TigerNet Talk, presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty.
They got the coaches back, and they have each other's back.
Oh yeah, welcome back into another edition of TigerNet Talk, presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, of course, on the front page of TigerNet.com and ClemsonSportsTalk.com. If you go to the live page there, we've put the links out on Twitter. Hashtag TNTalk gets to us here live in the studio, and I look forward to spending an hour with you talking about your Clemson Tigers. And George Whitfield Jr., quarterback guru, Zen master, I'm not sure what people want to call him or what he should be called. We're going to ask him that, for one thing. But he's worked with Tajh the past couple of seasons. He's also worked a couple of years with Chad Schwag Kelly. We'll have him on the show in just a little bit. He's out in California, so we're going to give him a call and talk with him about their development and the future of Clemson Tiger football at the quarterback spot, and find out a little bit what he knows or what he feels like he knows about Chad Kelly. And one thing that I definitely want to know about, and I think it's something that you guys are interested in for sure, is Cole Stout is on that roster as well. But if, and Lord forbid something were to happen to Tajh Boyd this season, George Whitfield seemed to be pretty confident in his interview with David Hood on TigerNet just the other day that Chad Kelly could step in for many programs and play, but how game ready would he be coming into the season? Thank you so much for everybody being here with us. I see a lot of people in the chat room. Of course, we do the show live for you. I'll be honest with you, when we didn't do the show live, it just wasn't the same. It didn't have the same feel, the same bounce, the same pep. You guys bring the heat in the chat room, and I appreciate it. If you have a question for George Whitfield, feel free to put it into the screen queue below. And if you just want to chat with fellow Clemson Tiger fans, maybe you're listening to the Clemson-Georgia baseball game or at least following it in Tiger Active Chat, that's fine too. You did get to say for the first time this season, though, last night that Clemson beat Georgia. I hope we're saying that in August. August 31st, man. That day, I was talking with somebody today on the telephone, and we were just talking about how big a game that's going to be. And how every time somebody talks about Clemson, Georgia, your skin just, it almost crawls. You're just ready for that game. You're just so anxious to be at Death Valley enjoying that game with all of Clemson Nation. George just sent me a text, said he can only be on for about 8 to 10 minutes. That's no problem. We'll let him know. That's perfect with us. That's all the time we need. We'll put him through the speed cycle. We're going to give away a couple of shirts. I saw people comment on it. We've got our new Clemson Sports Talk shirts. Tigertown Graphics, downtown Clemson, is one of our new sponsors, and they've helped us with some of our shirts and merchandising that we're doing. We're going to put some of those up on the website as well. We're going to give a couple away here on the program, and we'll continue to do that up until football season, obviously, and then we'll have some at the tailgate as well. But if you like the program, if you love what we do and you want to support us, we are going to put them on our website for sale. And I'd love to be able to generate a little bit of extra income just for the time that we put in and everything that we do here for you. And I do thank you so much, as always, for being here. Well, the first scrimmage of the football season technically is in the can. Tajh Boyd goes 5 for 11 for 55 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception. Cole Stout is 6 for 19, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And Chad Kelly, 8 for 14, 71 yards, and 2 scores. Now, here's where this really picks up, I think, for me. When you look at the job that a kid like Jordan Leggett has done, 2 touchdowns, 44 yards, 2 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown, but he's been the guy that we've continued to hear now recently in spring, in the early spring practices from the coaching staff saying, hey, this guy's a difference maker. This kid's really stepping forward. And he's a guy, when we kind of looked at this team and the development of this ball club this season, we put it as one of the top key positions and players for Clemson. I know he's young, but he's developed. He's pulling some weight. He's got great route running ability and good hands. Athleticism galore. And the thing that I like about him, and the reason that Brad in the chat room says Jordan needs to get up to 250 pounds, and he very well may need to get there to play significant minutes or have significant playing time. I'm still in my basketball mode, as you can see. But he has put on about 5 pounds. Maybe he needs about 10 more. But I think when you look at the kid with his size and ability and pass catching and what Clemson's been able to do offensively at the tight end position over the past 2 seasons, the sky's the limit for this kid, to be honest with you. And that's what I think so many people like about him, is that you can't really, pencil him in as strictly a tight end as his skill set goes. His speed and athleticism is off the charts. It reminds you of, and I think a lot of us dream it sometimes, and I'm not going to say he's as good an athlete as a LeBron James, but when you're talking about a guy who's 6'6" with great hands, you get the feeling that he could be a difference maker. And for one thing for me that I like about a kid like him who's got sort of a basketball background, the thing I like about that is when he is matched up against linebackers, it can become a mismatch almost instantaneously from a height perspective, from a speed perspective. And that's a positive for Clemson because Tajh Boyd this past season relied so much on Nuke Hopkins. And it was nice that every so often when he had to, he could check down and find Brandon Ford. I think Jordan Leggett, maybe this year you'll see a little bit of that emergence come, but the following season, I think you're definitely going to see it. And don't be surprised if he's the guy that Clemson fans are talking about at tailgates throughout the season for just his play that's blowing you away. I think that is the guy who, when it's all said and done this season, a lot of people are going to say, man, I never expected that kid to step up. But I really am telling you, I think he's got what it takes. The coaching staff sees it. And it doesn't just come from athleticism, but you've also got a confidence that he has. Sean says he really is excited about, about Jordan playing. But like Logan Thomas, I guess he's playing the right position, unlike Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas was tall. He was a quarterback. George Whitfield could have made him the next Joe Montana. I guarantee you that. There's no doubt George Whitfield Jr. would have made him the next Joe Montana. We'll have to find out if Whitfield has ever actually worked with Logan Thomas. But I don't know if I can waste any of my 8 minutes on that question. I don't think I should. I know some of you will say, well, you could do that if you wanted to. Let's give you the quick numbers, though, on the running backs in this ball game. Rod McDowell, 5 carries, 58 yards. DJ Howard, 6 carries, 10 yards. Zach Brooks, 8 carries for 39 yards. And C.J. Davison, 7 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. So nothing there to really jump off the page at you. And then as the wide receivers go, Martavis Bryant led the way. 3 catches, 46 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Martavis Bryant, Dabo Swinney said it so much after practice, says, hey, he hasn't been a problem off the field. He hasn't been a problem on the field. All that's coming together. He's developing more and more. But the guy that throws him that biscuit every Saturday, the guy that's going to heave it to him, his name is Tajh Boyd. We're going to talk with George Whitfield Jr. right here on the program live here on TigerNet Talk, presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty. And the chat room is doing the Harlem Shake. Stay with us, Tiger fans. Miss that old familiar ping of college baseball? Well, guess what? You don't have to miss a single game of Clemson Tiger baseball, as you can stay at the closest hotel to Doug Kingsmore Stadium, the Clemson University Conference Center and Inn. Rooms are available for baseball season with lakeside accommodations, complimentary continental breakfast, bar, Seasons Restaurant by the lake, Joe's Place Bar, and the Walker Golf Course. All are waiting for you right around the corner from the stadium. For reservations, contact General Manager Sharon Franks at Sharon f@clemson.edu or call toll-free 1-888-654-9020 and ask to speak to Sharon. It's the Clemson University Conference Center and in. Go to www.clemsonuniversityn.com. G-Dog General Dentistry at Oak Grove is located on Highway 1 near the Barnyard Flea Market. Modern, relaxing dentistry with TVs and headphones in every room, nitrous and even oral sedation. Digital diagnostic x-rays for better quality and 85% less radiation exposure. And check out their new Clemson Patient Special. Mention that you heard about G-Dog here on the Clemson Sports Talk programs and receive an extra 5% off all services through football season. If you don't have a regular dentist, go see my dentist, Dr. Rick Jackson at G-Dog. That's General Dentistry at Oak Grove. A winning team requires having great team members. If you're a landowner interested in selling timber or are considering buying or selling land, call the winning team of Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, LLC today. Put the knowledge and skills of professional licensed foresters and realtors to work for your team. To learn more about services offered by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, LLC, visit www.crosscreektimber.com and easily follow the link to real estate or reach them by phone 864-517-3620 or 864-517-3621.
The 1988 season was a great year for the Clemson Tigers, finishing 10-2 with a win over Oklahoma in the Citrus Bowl. But it was a better year for Clemson fans. That season, Tigertown Graphics became your source for custom tees, promotional items, and embroidery. Conveniently located in the heart of downtown Clemson, their retail store proudly displays Clemson shirts that are designed and printed directly on site. Whether you're looking for the latest Clemson t-shirts or ordering products for your school, organization, or business, Tigertown Graphics can help with all of your t-shirt needs. Find them online at www.tigertowngraphics.com. A Clemson tradition since 1988.
On Saturday morning, I don't sleep late. I eat an early breakfast and I head out for the gate. I gotta get there early to watch the Tigers play. The dogs are in town, we'll blow them away. I've got my orange t-shirt, got my orange hat, even orange underwear. And what you think of that?
That old school jam, but you gotta love it there, talking about the dogs are in town and we'll blow them away. Well, certainly the lead dog for the Clemson Tigers will be Tajh Boyd, the man who just worked with him out in California. George Whitfield Jr. joins us of Whitfield Athletics. George, welcome into the program. Quarterback guru extraordinaire, specialist. I mean, people call you everything online. How do you what do you call yourself?
Pretty lucky.
I heard that.
To be honest. But in terms of, the day-to-day, how I see myself is like an engineer or an architect. Coach, to me, I'm a son of a coach. My grandfather was a coach, and I have such an immense respect, and I'm getting a chance to work with athletes. But coaches like, Coach Sweeney, Coach Morris, they're getting guys ready to go out and beat a team, taking a team to go beat another team.
Right.
And I'm trying to improve, I guess, a team through an individual, through his own mechanics and fundamentals. So it's almost more like engineering. How much can we get out of Taj's footwork, or, what, more can we do, out of Cam Newton, or, trying to get luck, cleaner coming out, with the ball coming out of his hand. You're more so working with guys. So I look at it kind of like engineering, as much as we study it and film it and, in some cases measure it out and all those sorts of things. So,
I mean,
but I take anything.
Well, do you feel like you can develop anybody into being a good quarterback? I mean, I'm 36 years old. I still have a pretty good arm. I mean, if I come out there, can you help me out some?
I can promise you I can help you to be better than what you were. I don't know if you'd be able to go in there and push Tajh for his job, but I can make you better than what you were.
Well, some may say I have an opportunity maybe to do that. Do I have any eligibility left? I don't think I do. But what's the number one thing that you look for in a quality quarterback?
Oh, well, it's I guess athletically, it's going to be generic, I guess you'd call it talent, be it arm talent or some kind of unique trait. I guess you don't have to really pin it to one, specific thing, 'cause that's going to eliminate somebody. And then if you move the needle to another topic, it's going to illuminate others and take out others. So you have to have some kind of unique trait. With Drew Brees, it's vision and accuracy. Obviously with Cam Newton, it's just that raw athletic power, and then he's got a big arm.
Yeah.
And you go to Phillip Rivers, it's one thing. You go to Romo, it's another. So you just try to be aware of a unique trait. Guys are in the NFL for doing several different things. And then, but above all, they've got to be an alpha personality and with passion and toughness. And then when you get those elements in there, you got a guy that's going to be hard to stop. The pilot light's on. They're going to keep charging regardless of circumstance, regardless of, their, previous performance. There's just no real stopping. There isn't any stopping guys like that.
Well, Cody in our chat room wants to know, what's the main thing you focused on with Tajh and and Chad Kelly?
You merged the two. That'd be a scary quarterback. With Tajh, this was actually the second time Tajh and I got a chance to work. Last year he came out to Stanford and spent the week him and his dad. And, we kind of worked on some. We tweaked a few things. How to set up. Economy of the base and driving off, et cetera. And then this year, and I loved what he went, and how his season went. And again, all the hard work he put in with Coach Morris and Coach Sweeney. This year, though, it's about, just the consistency of what he's doing. Can I, arrive at a base every single time when I get ready to throw it? On the run, do I have the same type of posture? Do I provide myself the same, type of opportunity to make the throw? I guess you'd say consistency, and that's probably, it's a boring answer, but it's accurate for what he's doing. He's capable of doing everything as it is now. So it isn't like he had to come out and, put one particular thing, under construction or surgery. It's just more so just going around and finding every single bolt and going from there. So that's pretty much what he had to work on.
That's the voice of George Whitfield Jr. He recently worked with Tajh Boyd and Chad Kelly out at Whitfield Athletics out in California. And how much do you feel like this offense helps Boyd or whoever's under center, whether it's Kelly or Cole Stout, how much do you think this offense maybe helps the quarterbacks at Clemson as far as not only their development, but maybe as the pace of the game, the tremendous advantage that maybe that gives them?
Oh, it's incredible. I think America's starting to see Clemson almost as the Oregon East, I guess you'd say. They're fast, they're up tempo, they're exciting. It's a juggernaut, especially when you can go out and recruit quarterbacks like Kelly and Boyd, and then coach them and develop them and kind of raise them up to go out and run that for you. It's exciting, and I think Coach Morris is one of the best minds in football, and Coach Sweeney as well. Those guys are incredible.
Now, you worked with Chad Kelly when he was in high school. Is that correct?
I did. I got to know Chad on his way into Clemson through the Elite 11. He was tough and gritty and really smart and very talented. And he always had a chip on his shoulder, and it served him well.
Well, people have criticized him a lot since high school. Maybe, some Clemson fans, maybe fans of opponents for some of the things he's done off the field or said off the field. Maybe it's Twitter, whatever, social media. What do you get from him, though? What do you pick up from him when you're talking with him? Where's his mind?
He's a sincere young guy, and he is young. He's young. Chad he's had success. He's always had success. He can only envision himself having success, and rightfully so. It's how he's brought up. That's what he's experienced playing, and I'm glad he's got a little chippiness to him and has that feel to him. But he'll he'll calm down a little bit. You know, as he gets older, he's young and very confident. That really, you know, and I'm probably as far away from all the stuff that you could be. San Diego and Clemson are probably 2,000, 3,000 miles away, so I don't really know all that stuff. But to me, I really like the fact that he's a competitor, one, and that he's driven. This kid's driven, and I don't think that there's too many scenarios. You know, and I've had a chance to be around him in quite a few competitive scenarios, and he's got the same approach each time. And it doesn't matter if it's the quote-unquote five-star guy that he's going up against, or it's, you know, the ball boy, and they're playing, you know, checkers. He wants to win everything.
Right. So,
in terms of all the, you know, kind of the noise around him, he'll calm down. He's a young guy, and he'll kind of, you know, smooth all that out.
Couple more questions for you before we get you out of here. Josh in the chat room says, what's the most common thing that young quarterbacks do wrong?
I'd say physically the one thing that young quarterbacks have to work on or don't really take notice of is how important their footwork is to the overall, you know, process. You know, and we're not just talking about just, you know, dropping back or their foot out of the gun work. I just think a lot of them are so enamored with their arm, and they know they're talented with their arm, that they would rather just kind of live life throwing the ball instead of kind of using their whole body to kind of get it going. Now, when they figure it out, they become awfully dangerous. And then in terms of off the field, just preparation, trying to figure out, you know, who they are in terms of, you know, film and how to study and the approach. And really, with the position of quarterback, you have to nerd out. You got to nerd out in order to do this. So that's the other element that you have to have in order to do this. So that would be the two things. I'd say footwork is a big thing they got to figure out, and then you know, how to be a pro, I guess you'd say.
Final question, George, before I get you out of here. Looking down the road at the future, you called Clemson perhaps maybe the Oregon of the East Coast right now. And Clemson fans, we all know that recruiting can go sour or south in a heartbeat, but you look down the line at a kid like a Deshaun Watson out of the state of Georgia who's breaking all kind of records, and that appears to be the type of quarterback that would fit Clemson's system unbelievably well. What do you know about this kid? What have you seen? What do you think about the future five-star quarterback?
Well, I've only heard great things, and you know, from other college coaches and from other analysts and things, and I'm excited to see him. I'll see him here in the next few weeks when we make our Elite 11 trip down to Atlanta. I think it's like 3 weeks. So I'll get a chance to meet him and his family and get a chance to see him, and you know, then I'll have a better understanding. But as of right now, he's kind of like a folk hero, and I'm kind of excited to get on the ground and see exactly who he is. So, you know, I'll know better here in a couple of weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't mind, we'd love to catch up with you after you spend some time with him and find out, what your assessment is of Deshaun Watson. We'd love to have you back on TigerNet Talk.
That'll work. I appreciate it a lot, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. George Whitfield Jr., Whitfield Athletics, who, of course, worked with Tajh Boyd, Chad Kelly, will be working with Deshaun Watson soon. We'll have him back on the program to get his take on Watson, who I know everybody's looking forward to, assuming that he signs on that dotted line. Oh, that reminds me of the Nature Boy Ric Flair. You got to sign the dotted line. Hopefully, he'll be in the mix at quarterback for Clemson down the road with Chad Kelly. The future certainly looks bright, though, for the Tigers, even looking past Tajh Boyd. Stay with us, Tiger fans. More TigerNet Talk presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty right after these messages. Do you suffer from a chronic case of the woohoo during football games? Do your Saturdays sound something a bit like this? Well, TigerNet Talk is out to fix that. If we can band together, we can change this reoccurring issue. With a simple Go Tigers, Go Tigers Go, you can make a difference. Ban the woohoo. Do yourself a favor. And as always, Go Tigers. A winning team requires having great team members. If you're a landowner interested in selling timber or are considering buying or selling land, call the winning team of Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, LLC today. Put the knowledge and skills of professional, licensed foresters and realtors to work for your team. To learn more about the forestry and real estate services offered by Cross Creek Timber, call 864-517-3620 and Cross Creek Realty, LLC at 864-517-3621. Or visit www.crosscreektimber.com and easily follow the link to real estate. G-Dog General Dentistry at Oak Grove is located on Highway 1 near the Barnyard Flea Market. Modern, relaxing dentistry with TVs and headphones in every room, nitrous and even oral sedation. Digital diagnostic x-rays for better quality and 85% less radiation exposure. And check out their new Clemson Patient Special. Mention that you heard about G-Dog here on the Clemson Sports Talk programs and receive an extra 5% off all services through football season. If you don't have a regular dentist, go see my dentist, Dr. Rick Jackson at G-Dog. That's General Dentistry at Oak Grove.
There's something about looking and feeling classy that everyone enjoys. Check out Edisto Outdoors, an apparel brand inspired by our southern animals and environment. These shirts feature soft-touch prints that will keep you looking your best in all types of weather. Look for Edisto Outdoors, coming soon to many fine retailers across the state, or visit www.edistooutdoors.com. Technical, comfortable, livable.
Blake Austin of South Carolina Farm Bureau is an insurance agent you can count on to meet all your needs. Home, auto, health, life, you name it, Blake's got you covered, and he can save you on your yearly rates. Call him now for a free quote, 803-259-5008. That's 803-259-5008. Or just go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and click on the Farm Bureau logo to be connected to Blake. Do like I do and work with the best agent around, and you can tweet that. Clemson Sports Talk fans, let us help you. With rates starting as low as $100 a month, you can advertise with us through July 2013. We are currently seeking additional advertisers and would love to help you spread the word about your business. Email us clemson81@gmail.com for additional information. Sponsors will receive an ad during the show and a link and logo in the weekly show notes on TigerNet and on the front page of ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Take your business to the Clemson fans around the world with us, ClemsonSportsTalk.com.
Hit them hard, lay them down, do it for your town. Clemson football, they be shutting it down. Chad Kelly QB, repping for his team. You can hate him, you can love him, you ain't stopping the dream. Hit them hard, lay them down, do it for my town. Clemson Tigers, they be shutting you down. Chad Kelly QB, repping for his team.
Oh yeah, Chad Kelly, that's the one. I tell you what. People can hate on him. People really, I mean, they can hate on him. But look what you hear from I guess I'm going to call him Coach Whitfield, Guru Whitfield. I don't know. George Whitfield says, you know, the kid, he's got what it takes. He's young. Obviously, that leads to some of the things that he's done in the past that maybe I'm trying to think of the best word for it. I don't think there's really a fair statement. Maybe rub some people the wrong way. I don't know if how many of you are following the Clemson Tiger baseball game, but apparently a 2-out double just went for nothing. Basically, the Tigers still trail the Georgia Bulldogs 4-2. Georgia at the plate in the top of the 8th inning. So we'll try to keep you posted on that. And those of you listening to the podcast edition will say thank you, El Swan, for updating us on the obvious, because that game will, of course, be done by the time many people pick this show up on podcast. But thank you to everybody for being here with us. I know many of you are here for the T-shirt giveaway. I hope that's not the only reason you've showed up. If you have, that's all right. Perhaps you need a new shirt. We've got our new Clemson Sports Talk T-shirts. Tigertown Graphics, downtown Clemson. They put these together for us. We had a design team come up with them. My man Brian is just a killer designer. I put it out to a couple people. Brian shot me back some designs. I said, this guy's got it going on. So I appreciate Brian. Got to make sure he gets one, so I can't give them all away. But we definitely are going to have some up for sale on our website soon enough. So we'll start with our first giveaway here, and I think the best way and the most fair way to do it, those of you who are listening to the podcast edition of the show, obviously you are not going to be able to win this contest because it will be over by the time that you get to hear the show. I'll start by telling you, though, that this is a Guess My Next Guest contest. Yes, that has some semblance of rhyme and perhaps alliteration. Guess My Next Guest contest. And my wife, who is in the chat room, is not eligible for the grand prize. First clue to my next guest on the program. This guest is an avid singer in their spare time. Now, the first person who puts this in the chat room, I'm going to give this first shirt away to somebody who's here with us, spending some time in the program. Our next guy, Josh wins it with Justin Bieber. Oh, Josh, that's fantastic. That's great. No. This is why we do the show live. I love it. Thank you, Josh, for the guess, but no. This guest last coached, the last game they coached in Clemson was in 2011. All right, so the two clues so far. My next guest is an avid singer in his spare time. I just said his. That eliminates half the women out there. Rats. All right, so he's an avid singer. And the last game they coached in Clemson was in 2011. Any guesses so far? I need the Jeopardy theme. No, not Kevin Steele. This is a former Clemson men's basketball coach. Will someone get it? Can I get some music, Johnny? Can I get something? Something, a little Tiger Rag in the background, perhaps, maybe, something. Not Shaka Smart, not Oliver Purnell. Got a little background music going here, a little Tiger Rag action. John Smith, you are the winner. Cliff Ellis will be our guest next week right here on the program. We're going to talk with Coach Ellis. Of course, the trick to that question was that his last game they coached in Clemson was in 2011. Don't forget, Coastal Carolina came to Clemson in 2011, and Coach Cliff Ellis kissed the paw at midcourt. So, John, you are our winner. Email me. I'm going to put the email address. It's Clemson81. Goodness gracious, if you can't remember that, you're in trouble. Clemson81@gmail.com. John, shoot me an email with your information, what size shirt you need. If you are in the XXL category, I can't help you out, but I could get you a nice shirt for perhaps your wife or girlfriend. That might do the trick. Yes, and as my wife tells you, you can put your address in there as well. But we'll make sure that we get that to you. And we're going to have another giveaway a little bit later in the program. Let's check an update on the Clemson Tiger baseball game. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good. Go! Georgia scored. It's 5-2 now. Top of the 8th. Of course, our man Tommy Chastain says, hey, I'm dedicated to you guys big time. But Clemson baseball trumps everything. Even my wife, bro. Is that what it's come to for Tommy? Clemson baseball trumps everything, even my wife. Clemson Tom says, can I steal UGA for my... Oh, can you steal UGA for my Georgia video? Look, Clemson Tom, this is going to... The people out there who pet pet advocates and all that, they're not going to like this. Things haven't gone so well for the Uggas over there at Georgia lately. I don't think you need to do anything to hurt their situation already. I don't know if it's the heat. I know that those is that an English bulldog? Is that a white English bulldog? Does anybody know exactly the type of bulldog that is? But I think they have a lot of upper respiratory issues. I mean, that's obvious from some of the breathing that you see, but, they have to sit them on that ice pack in the middle of the heat. I don't think, apparently I was right. Sinus issues, Clemson Tom says, get that dog some Nasonex. That'll clear him right up. Yeah, I don't think we need to do anything. Tom, you don't want to go down the road of Lee Harvey Updike, or as I like to call him, Lee Harvey Oswald Updike, killing those trees over in Toomer's Corner. You don't want to go down that road, Tom. That would be, you're going to take good care of him. Well, that's different. That's different. You're going to get his sinuses checked out, right? Clemson Tom with us here. Josh, David, Brad, Erica, TigerNet, Chris, Craig, a couple of guests, John, our winner, and Andy, right here with us this evening. TigerNet Talk presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty. Tigers trail Georgia 5-2. That's never a good thing. But let's go back real quick to George Whitfield and some of the things he said about Tajh Boyd and the things he said about Chad Kelly. And this is a guy who's worked with numerous quarterbacks. You heard him mention some of the names, the Cam Newtons of the world and others, who obviously have developed into some of the best quarterbacks in recent memory. And I just kind of wonder, when you look at what Clemson's done and how the advantage that gives these guys, I think that enhances their ability. And that's not to say that a Tajh Boyd or a Chad Kelly couldn't be good quarterbacks elsewhere. I think they could be. But the speed and the pace of this game that this offense runs, it gives them an advantage. And it makes them even better. It doesn't hurt that they're surrounded by, talented guys everywhere. I mean, it's never hurt that you got a Sammy Watkins in there. You've seen the development of a guy like Sharon Peake. How about Adam Humphries, who's as clutch as there is? I mean, Adam Humphries makes catch after catch. I think Adam Humphries, when you look back at what he does at the end of this season, you'll say, you know what? Who was it really filled in for Jerron Brown? Who was the sticky hands catch of the game each and every week? I'm thinking most of you are gonna probably point to an Adam Humphries. He doesn't have to make explosive plays. He doesn't have to be a big 50-yard touchdown grab kind of guy. But who's going to be the guy that picks up the 3rd and 6? Who's going to be the guy that finds his way to get open when you need 11 yards and pick up a first down? Adam Humphries, in my mind, will probably be the person that you're talking about there. I definitely, though, think that when you see the weapons that surround Tajh Boyd, when you see the weapons that'll be surrounding whether it's Cole Stout or Chad Kelly at the beginning of the season, you have to know that the development and the dedication that they've had to not go on spring break, that's another thing. Most of you have had the opportunity at some point to say to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to go to Daytona for spring break? Sounds like a party. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go down there. We're going to have a great time. We're just going to live it up. We're not going to worry about anything. And lots of college kids think that way. I think Homer Simpson thinks that way too.
I'm going to drink a lot of beer and stay out all night.
Fortunately, though, Tajh Boyd, Chad Kelly didn't think that way. And Tajh Boyd hadn't thought that way for 2 seasons, to go back out there and work with Coach Whitfield. That shows the dedication to his craft, getting better. That's what I like that we see from Tajh Boyd, because you want your guy. I mean, it's kind of like the boss. The boss has to be literally the first person at work. Maybe not every day, but the boss should try to be there every day first. If the boss is coming in an hour late, 2 hours late, there's a problem. And that problem filters down into the people underneath him, and they say, well, if he's not as dedicated to this job, why should I be dedicated to this job? And if Tajh Boyd isn't going to these camps, if Tajh Boyd isn't pushing himself, who's to say that Chad Kelly would have done it? Who's to say that other guys on this team would dedicate themselves in the offseason to improving? And the other thing I think that Tajh Boyd, one of his biggest strengths, is his ability to reflect on himself. His ability to look back and say, what did I do to look inside? It's not about everybody outside. It's not about the outside influences. It's not about the pressures of the game, the pressure of being the number one guy on campus, the leader of this team. It's internal. What can I do, or what did I do that I can do better? And when your leader is doing that, it doesn't matter if he gets the Heisman Trophy while he's at Clemson. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean, putting that trophy on his shelf at some point doesn't make him a success or not. But the qualities that he has right now as a leader for this team do make him a success, and he will be successful. And if there's one thing that Tajh Boyd has really done, outside of all of that, is when we talk about Chad Kelly and maybe some of the immaturity, the stuff you've seen on social media in the past, Tajh has kept his nose relatively clean when it comes to that kind of stuff. He says the right things when he's interviewed. I mean, Clemson Tom will tell you, he even used the word possum in an interview. So he obviously says the right things. Although Tommy did say it was corny. He did say it was corny. That's all right. He still said possum. Tajh Boyd, Chad Kelly, Deshaun Watson, Cole Stout, whoever it is, the football factory. Clemson used to pump out running backs and linebackers like crazy. QB factory. Oregon East, as George Whitfield called it. I love it. We'll be back. Final segment of TigerNet Talk right after these messages.
In my head, if I pointed it just
The 1988 season was a great year for the Clemson Tigers, finishing 10-2 with a win over Oklahoma in the Citrus Bowl. But it was a better year for Clemson fans. That season, Tigertown Graphics became your source for custom tees, promotional items, and embroidery. Conveniently located in the heart of downtown Clemson, their retail store proudly displays Clemson shirts that are designed and printed directly on site. Whether you're looking for the latest Clemson t-shirts or ordering products for your school, organization, or business, Tigertown Graphics can help with all of your t-shirt needs. Find them online at www.tigertowngraphics.com. A Clemson tradition since 1988.
Blake Austin of South Carolina Farm Bureau is an insurance agent you can count on to meet all your needs. Home, auto, health, life, you name it, Blake's got you covered, and he can save you on your yearly rates. Call him now for a free quote, 803-259-5008. That's 803-259-5008. Or just go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and click on the Farm Bureau logo to be connected to Blake. Do like I do and work with the best agent around, and you can tweet that. Hey there, Tiger fans. When you take yourself out to the ball game, make sure that you're staying at the Clemson University Conference Center and Inn. That's right, it's the closest hotel to Doug Kingsmore Stadium. Lakeside accommodations, complimentary continental breakfast bar with waffles, the Seasons by the Lake restaurant, Joe's Place Bar, and the Walker Golf Course are all waiting for you right around the corner from Doug Kingsmore Stadium. For reservations, contact General Manager Sharon Franks at sharonf@clemson.edu or call 1-888-654-9020 and ask to speak to Sharon. Buy yourself some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, but make sure that you stay at the Clemson University Conference Center and Inn. A winning team requires having great team members. If you're a landowner interested in selling timber or are considering buying or selling land, call the winning team of Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, LLC today. Put the knowledge and skills of professional licensed foresters and realtors to work for your team. To learn more about services offered by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty, LLC, visit www.crosscreektimber.com and easily follow the link to real estate or reach them by phone 864-517-3620 or 864-517-3621.
There's something about looking and feeling classy that everyone enjoys. Check out Edisto Outdoors, an apparel brand inspired by our southern animals and environment. These shirts feature soft-touch prints that will keep you looking your best in all types of weather. Look for Edisto Outdoors coming soon to many fine retailers across the state, or visit www.edistooutdoors.com. Technical, comfortable, livable.
This is Clemson Tom, and you're listening to Clemson Sports Talk. So sit down and have you a cold one and listen to a true American.
I like driving down Clemson Boulevard.
Clemson Tom in the chat room, keeping everybody entertained. And, of course, I mentioned the fact that Tajh Boyd had used the word possum. And then I said that Tajh did say he thought it was corny. But he did say, to credit Clemson Tom here, he also said he liked it. Put that little feather in my cap. He did say he liked it. Sean in the chat room says he's ready for the season. Sean, can you believe it? I'll be honest with you. Of course, to put out the podcast edition of the show, I have to go back through and chop up some audio. And I listened to like one of the beginnings of the segment. We were coming back in from break. And I did one of those introductions for like Clemson, Georgia that sounded like, the guy at the movie theater when you go in and it's like, one man, a whole lot of issues. Oh, it sounded great. I was like, yeah, Clemson, Georgia. Yes, it's on. It's on. I can't wait either, Sean. Thank you for being here with us on TigerNet Talk presented by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty. And thank you to all of our sponsors. Edisto Outdoors. How about the Clemson University Conference Center and Inn, South Carolina Farm Bureau and Blake Austin, Tigertown Graphics. I mean, without those guys, do we really have a show? No, we really don't. And for everybody who's ever sponsored the show, thank you so much for being a part of us. One of our old sponsors, Duty Calls. You guys remember the jingle? We scoop the poop. Oh, that was a great one, wasn't it? We'll get them back. We'll get them back. David says Chad Kelly will be the starter before Deshaun Watson. Tweet that. I agree with you there, David, but Watson's going to push him probably for everything. They will probably, though, look to get Watson the red shirt if possible. I can guarantee you that. Josh with an excellent point. Maybe Oregon's Clemson West. And from this point forward, Josh, thanks to you, I will be referring to them as Clemson West. We are no longer Oregon East. They are Clemson West. Because we were here first, right? Doesn't that go back to that old South Carolina, Southern Cal argument? Isn't that what South Carolina always says? Well, they were here first. We were here first. How can they be? How could they be SC first? I don't know. Anyway, speaking of South Carolina, Steve Spurrier never seems to be able to keep his mouth shut. Steve Spurrier says that his assistants have visited other staffs this offseason but won't name them. We don't brag about it like some people.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Yes, I know, Steve Spurrier. You've defeated the Clemson Tigers 4 straight seasons. Yes, on and on and on. We know these things. But when you continually try to rib people, it really doesn't. It's not flattering. It doesn't do any good. Because ultimately, no matter what's happened the past 4 seasons, while it's difficult for a lot of Clemson fans, we still own you. Let it be stated that Clemson still owns South Carolina. And it doesn't matter what's happened the past 4 seasons in the grand scheme of ownership in this little thing we like to call a friendly rivalry. Is it? It's feeling more like a rivalry, though. I'll give you that. My whole life, to be honest with you, I felt like it was pretty much a domination. That's just the way I felt. We're going to give away another Clemson Sports Talk shirt right here on the program right now. This question for everybody who's listening to the show live. By the way, if you want to buy one of the shirts, if you want to support us, go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Then you'll click on the store tab at the top. Those shirts will be up very soon. Finalizing some of the things with the payments through PayPal. Hopefully you have PayPal. We'd love you to support us and to wear a shirt with pride and let people know about our program. And when they ask you, say, hey, what's that shirt about? Say, that shirt's about possum. That shirt's about Clemson Sports Talk all the time. I was talking with somebody the other day, and they said, so tell me about your show. Yeah, why should I tune into your show and not some other show? I said, well, first off, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. We're going to talk about Clemson sports 99.9% of the time. I know the Miami Heat have a winning streak going on. I know that it may or may not be in jeopardy at this time. I know Lance Armstrong used steroids. I know these things, but we're not going to talk about those things. You know why? This is Clemson Sports Talk. This is TigerNet Talk. Sunday nights at 9, we've got the Clemson Hotline. Wednesday nights at 9, we've got TigerNet Talk for you here brought to you by Cross Creek Timber and Cross Creek Realty. Our shirt giveaway. Thank you to Tigertown Graphics for this fine shirt. Prior to 1990, Clemson University had never lost to which conference opponent? Prior to 1990, that's Ken Hatfield's first season. Chris in the chat room, winner, chicken dinner. It didn't take long. Or would that be the other white meat? Chris in the chat room, Virginia. You got it, Chris. Send us an email, clemson81@gmail.com. I know you got my email, Chris. As always, I appreciate you being here. And for everybody else, we are going to continue to give away some shirts up until, obviously, football season. Then we'll have some at the tailgate if you want to stop by and pick one up. And we've got some big things planned coming up for football season. I'll tell you what, you are not going to believe some of the stuff that we're going to be doing. But, ultimately we couldn't do it without you guys. So I thank you so much, as always, for stopping by and spending about an hour with us talking about your favorite team, my favorite team, the Clemson Tigers. One thing I did have a little bit of a concern about, though, and I wanted to say it to you real quick, is Tony Stewart. Once again, he had a hyperextended knee. Thank goodness that it's nothing worse than that. I mean, this kid has battled to try and get back from multiple knee injuries. You just hate to see that for this young man. He's a kid who can be a huge contributor for Clemson this year if he can stay healthy and be on the field. That's one thing that I think has concerned a lot of people right now, especially when you see some news like that coming out and you're just into a couple of practices, really, in the spring. And finally, what are the odds that Clemson wins the BCS championship? You're going to like these, I think. 25-1. Bruce Feldman of CBS Sports has Clemson at 25-1 to win the national championship. Craig says 5-1. They're going to have the offense. The defense is going to be much improved, you would think, especially up front. And anytime that front four, your defense, gets better, that helps out everybody behind them, that's for sure. The 7 guys behind them really appreciate it. So hopefully those numbers will improve even further as we get closer and some of the young guys come in and begin to contribute as we head towards August 31st, 2013. Boy, that just sounds good. Clemson and Georgia. Speaking of Clemson and Georgia, the baseball game, where does it stand right now? The Bulldogs still leading 5-2 as we close the show. Thank you so much for being here with us on another edition of TigerNet Talk, and I look forward to seeing you Sunday night at 9 p.m. for Clemson Hotline. Until next time, as always, y'all take care now, and go Tigers!